Alright, we're back. Hope you enjoyed listening to the information about those other companies. And now you two can have your little section.
We were just having this discussion, and I hate when people use that word little.
Yeah.
Because it's always it's always a connotation with it.
Yeah.
Oh, your little friends, or your little car, your little section.
You guys say that all the time, so I don't even want to hear it. And yes, you get little because you tried to skip my section.
That drives me insane. One of the guys I work with, we were talking about this the other day. All right, so we're going to launch into part one here. So we're going to pick this up as right as soon as the company gets a call from a customer to come do an estimate. So it's your first actual contact with the customer. Now, granted, most customers should have already done some of their own research. So they've probably either contacted other companies or they've researched your online presence, your socials, or your web page, your whatever. So hopefully they've already done that, so they know a little bit about you before they reach out to you.
Yeah, so, Jim handles most of the incoming, but I can tell you what the customer is looking for when they call in is efficiency. Nobody has time anymore to waste. We're a society where mom and dad have to work in order to make a living. It's not a one-income society anymore unless you're very wealthy. So they want efficiency and they want honesty. Those are the two biggest keys. Now, when a client calls in, most of the time Jen can do an estimate over the phone with them and get them a good price, get them squared away. But what the customer is really looking for is, are you able to do it, whether it's in person or online? Some clients would prefer in person, some prefer online, but they want to know that you're going to do it. And the key to any estimate is answer the phone.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Or call them back if you miss it.
Nothing infuriates me more, and I'll go into a story a little bit later about some home renovation stuff that I'm working on at my house. But nothing infuriates me more than you doing research and deciding on it. I'm going to reach out to this company. You call, leave a message for an estimate, and crickets.
Yeah.
Nothing. No callback, no messages, no nothing. And I'm not talking about, we have it as well, but I'm not talking about the automated messages that they send out. I'm talking about a real actual person reaching out to you saying, hey, we've received your estimate, you're in queue or you're in schedule or what would you like? Or I'm still very old school, and I know there's a lot of customers out there that feel the same way. I still want to talk to somebody. I don't want to talk to no stupid robot. I don't want to talk to an automated assistant on Facebook. I want to talk to an actual person who can help me and listen to me.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is it's okay to miss the call. Like yesterday,
yeah,
for example,
everybody's busy.
Yeah, yesterday, for example, I was on the phone with one customer giving an estimate, and another one called while I was on the phone with them. But call the customer back in a timely fashion. If you want to be successful in business, answer the phone and return messages same day.
Within 24 hours, you should be contacting that customer.
If the customer has to call you back to get their estimate because you never returned their call, there's a problem. Like you have a big problem.
Yeah. I'm a very trust issues type of person. So if I in good faith reach out to you, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks this way, if I in good faith reach out to you because I have something that you want, which is money, right? You want to make money for your work so you can grow your business, right? I have that. You have a service that I need that I'm reaching out to pay for, right? So the very first thing that you can do to earn my trust and to start winning me as a customer is answer the phone and respond back to me in a timely manner. Because right there shows me right off the bat, number one, you're organized, you're efficient, and you care about the customer. If I call and ask you for an estimate to come out and do an estimate, and if I don't get a call back for 3 or 4 or 5 days, I get extenuating circumstances and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the average run-of-the-mill customer. And I don't hear from you for 72, 96, 120 hours, 3, 4, 5 days. That's telling me right there that number one, you're not organized because you're not prioritizing your call queues. you're not paying attention to what's going on around you because you have customers now that are waiting in the queue, that's potential money that's sitting on the table, right? So that tells me your business plans probably aren't that solid.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, your workload is either too much or you can't manage your workload, which now sends me into trust issues in the future, right? So now, can I trust you to come to the job on time? Can I trust you to do the job correctly? Can I trust you to communicate with me during the job? And can I trust you to close it efficiently?
I wouldn't. I mean, and then one of the other big parts about business and that initial estimate, so I can tell you probably 60% of our customers that do not accept the estimate right away, that want to talk it over with a spouse. They may talk it over with the spouse, and then life happens, and they get busy,
Yeah.
and they have to run to soccer practice, softball practice, football practice. They've got to make dinner. They've got to go to work. They get busy. They forget all about the fact that they called somebody to get an estimate in the first place. So when Jen does follow-up, I would say 60% of the customers that she follows up with and closes are, man, I'm really glad you called me back to follow up on this estimate, because to be honest with you, I forgot all about the fact that I called you. And some of these customers they're going on Google, they're seeing, hey, they got pretty good Google reviews, let's give them a call.
Yep.
And then they're like, man, which one of these companies did I call? I can't remember who I got that estimate from. That's, the nature of the world we live in is everything is so fast paced that there's no, it's not like you get in the yellow books anymore and circle a number. This is the company I'm going to call.
What the heck is a yellow book?
Did she say what's the yellow pages?
Yeah, she did.
It's a joke to make you guys feel old because you know you're not hard.
Yeah. Well, there are actually people out there that don't know what the yellow pages are. So
Yeah.
It's a book with yellow pages that has a bunch of names of businesses and people
there you
and
go.
number and you
Well,
circle.
you learned something at least.
It's like someone asking what a Rolodex was the other night on a TV show I was watching.
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
I think I know what that is.
the people say initial impressions are key, right?
Yeah.
I believe in as a business owner and trying to win somebody's money, because that's what you're doing. It's a business transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a service. They have what we're after, which is money. We're trying to make money for our business.
Right.
They're purchasing a service. So that business transaction, the very first thing should be the most professional and the most outstanding appearance that you can make.
I get it all the time. Jen gets it all the time. When she answers the phone, I was actually half expecting to leave a message. Or when, especially like when she does the online quotes, I'll have a quote over to you in 20 minutes. People are like, "Wow, really? You're gonna be that fast?" Well, I mean, we were expecting you to take a while. And,
No.
It's like that company we tried to get some more once.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, we got an estimate from them, but then we couldn't get them on the phone.
well, I'll tell you a little story. So, the wife and I were, so we're trying to do a deck project, right? So we're trying to replace our entire aged deck with a new deck with new material. We found a company that fit all of our needs. We reached out and scheduled an estimate. The phone call immediately was answered, right? So check one, all right, I got to talk to somebody. Check two, within a week they had us an estimate scheduled, all right? So the salesman came out and did the estimate, wrote us up the estimate. I wasn't there to talk to him, but Emmy talked to him and was absolutely blown away by his professionalism. He knew what he was talking about. He was able to quote stuff right on the spot. He knew exactly what needed to be done. There was no, well, let me talk to my boss. He knew exactly what he needed to do, right? Which right away told me, okay, this guy is organized. He's got his priorities. He knows what his job is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So within another day or two, I have an invoice in my email with an itemized estimate. This is exactly what you're going to cost. This is exactly what we need to do. So from the first point of contact until I signed the estimate, flawless. The company had absolute 5 stars. I'm not going to put the company on blast out here, but because I've already made my frustrations clear to them. However, that was on the 12th of June. So
Yeah.
we are now sitting on the 15th of July.
Yeah.
That was the 12th of June. I did not have a single piece of contact, and I signed the estimate. So I had cash in the bank, ready to pay this company to schedule me to do a job, right? I did not get a single piece of communication from that office until the 11th of July. So almost 30 days from the time I signed the estimate, I didn't have a single piece of contact. That is after, within those 30 days, I contacted the home office twice to talk to the office manager. Messages were left, no return phone call. I left messages on the automated line, no return phone call. Finally, on the 5th time, I reached back out to the salesman who came out, and he told me, "Hey, I'll be in the office the next day, Monday morning." This was on the 12th of July, and I will make sure the office manager gives you a call. So no return phone call. So I finally, the wife is ready to come unglued. So I finally call, and I'm ready to cancel the estimate. Right? I'm ready to take my money somewhere else because now I can't trust anything that you're doing, right? So I finally get the office manager on the line. Once and only once I threatened to cancel the estimate. They said, "Well, your job has been assigned to the project manager. He's coming out today to do the drawing and everything of the project." I'm like, "Well, how convenient that today when I'm on the phone canceling my order." And then come to find out the project manager has had it sitting on his desk for 3.5 weeks and never even contacted me at all.
Well, and
So
that's where you get into the follow-up.
So yeah, exactly where we're going. So
Well, it's not the customer's job to follow up.
no,
They should be
I
calling-
shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be hounding you to come take my money,
No.
right? So I should have at least in a 30-day period after the estimate, I should have been contacted by that company at least 3 times. Do you need anything else? Is there anything we can do for you? Are you ready to schedule your project, right?
Yeah, once you hit accept, and this is what we do, which I think should be common practice, but it is amazing. It blows me away how many times I go to a customer's house and we get the we're so happy we found you. You're the only ones that call back and do this, and we think that the way you communicate is great. And I know that today's world, a lot of people are nervous about, well, you don't want to bug people. Well, you have to because those people are busy.
Yes.
And those people want to give you their money, but they don't have time to be chasing you around to give you money. So when you accept an estimate with Blue Line Pressure Washing, within 24 hours you have a date scheduled. And it's generally, once you accept, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's the turnaround time. Jen typically has them on the schedule within 20 minutes of them accepting the estimate.
And what's frustrating to me, at least, I'm a very reasonable person in most circumstances, right? I'm very I'm flexible if you give me a little leeway, right?
Right.
All I asked for was some communication from the company. Like I get that companies get behind. Sometimes we get behind, in scheduling materials. Waiting on materials. Sometimes the manufacturers are behind. Just sometimes your work order's behind. Yeah, sometimes it's out of your hands. But guess what? Most people out there, you always get that 2% of customers like we were talking about that aren't going to be happy regardless. But the majority of people out there, if you just reach out and say, "Hey, here's the issue we're having. We're working on it." As long as you're communicative with people and let them know what's going on and make them part of the process, usually you're not going to have any issues. You're going to retain that customer. They're going to be happy. But it's the people that just, the companies that just completely blow the customer off, basically.
Yeah.
Because their justification is that they're too busy
So-
to contact the customer, but you can't. You're not going to be too busy for much longer if you don't have any contact with the customer.
That's exactly
They're
right.
going to walk away.
Tori, you just nailed it. So one of the excuses that I've heard, you nailed it. One of the excuses that I've heard is, well, we're so busy. We have so many customers. We're a small company, but we're dealing with a lot of customers. Then guess what? If you are to the point where you are overwhelmed by customers at the company, then you need to reevaluate your business practices and your organization.
It's time to hire.
That means you need help in there because if you're letting customers go simply because you can't answer the phone, eventually all of your customers are going to stop answering the phone.
Once your reputation goes down the toilet, it's down the toilet.
And a lot of people I've heard in the singular business class I was forced to take in my freshman year, a lot of the excuses that we were told were normal was people don't hire new people because they don't have the money. But if you're at the point where you're turning away customers because you have so much business and you don't have the money to hire new people, then you're making some mistakes.
What do I tell you all the time? We've got to spend money to make money.
Spend it to make it.
Yeah,
Like if you
especially in the first couple years, you've got to spend the money to make the money.
Well, and we're gonna get stuck in a rabbit hole and wind up giving away all 4 episodes if we continue down this path.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut us off.
Yeah.
And basically,
I wish you would, because me trying to get y'all shut up ain't working.
well, hush. Basically, the key takeaways from today's episode and this topic that we're going on is get the estimate out in a timely fashion, follow up on the estimate in a timely fashion, and when they accept the estimate, get them on your schedule in a timely fashion. There is zero excuse. I don't care if you're booked out 4 weeks. That doesn't matter. That should be something that you should have communicated to them at the time of the estimate. Hey, we're glad to get you an estimate. I just want to let you know ahead of time that we're booked out for the next 4 weeks. But we will get you an estimate and get you scheduled if you're ready to move forward. And then once they accept those terms, get back on the phone with them, send them an email, text message, however they want to communicate with you, and get them on the schedule. Make them feel important and follow up with them. And following up is so stinking easy, especially in our.
How long does it take to send a text message or an email?
Wrap it up, would you?
It doesn't. It doesn't take long at all.
But I've got some statistics I want to throw out there that will go through the next.
No, you just
3
tried to cut
parts.
it off, and now you're.
Well, because you didn't let me get to this.
He's the one that cut you off.
So these statistics are they're gonna replay in all 4 parts of this series. But so this is collected from the Better Business Bureau, ZipRecruiter, and Zippia. So 61% of customers have switched to a competitor after a bad customer service experience. Right? Customers will tell an average of 9 people about a positive experience, but will tell 16 people about a negative experience. I fall into this category. 52% of Americans are willing to pay a little bit more for good customer service rather than a bad a job. 93% of customers are likely to repeat purchasing from a company after experiencing excellent customer service.
Oh, you had to say that particular term, didn't you?
Well,
Would you watch it?
Go ahead.
Here's a killer. 91% of customers, and I think actually this is kind of low, but 91% of customers are willing to switch companies after 1 bad customer experience or customer service experience.
Yep.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yep. Because I will.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you can't. Is this based off of just small companies or just business in general?
This is all around. So this goes from large companies like Chewy and Trader Joe, Amazon,
well, then
all the way down.
91% isn't really all that low, because if you ever gone, like I know that you have gone into like a store like Martin's and had someone be rude to you.
I will walk right back out.
But see, him right there, he's gone into Martin's after that, like, because I got him to go out and get me Fruity Pebbles at 10 o'clock at night. And this girl was out there being rude, and we've been back to Martin since then.
Well,
and he just told me about repeat instances with it, so.
Well, okay, so this is something that will kind of hammer it home. So the statistics are probably a little bit low, even still, because I understand where you're coming from, but you'll see this post on Facebook quite frequently. You'll go to McDonald's and have a bad experience, but you'll keep going to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
You have 1 bad experience with a small business, and you'll never go back to that small business again.
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at, is because if it's an all-around statistic, it can't really be considered low.
Well, but how many options do you have? So here locally, we have Martin's, Walmart, Aldi's,
Save a Lot,
and Wise Markets. So I've had a bad experience in every single one of those companies. But I got to buy my food from somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you could probably honestly exclude a grocery store from that that rule because you've got to buy your food from somebody.
Okay, let's say
Yeah.
a fast food place. I've seen about 1 million people have bad experiences and still go back. Whether it's the same building or a different building, they still go back to the same place.
Yeah,
and you can't really factor in options here because...
Think about this, though. The McDonald's on this end of town, the McDonald's in Spring Mills, and then the McDonald's on the other end.
Three completely
different owners. It's just a name.
Mm-hmm.
So they pick one that they have a better experience with. Well, I do see your point, but we're talking a massive conglomerate company versus small business. I cannot justify saying, well, I can be rude because McDonald's is rude and they get their customers back, whereas...
I'm not saying you can justify it, but you guys were saying that the statistics were low, but if you actually think about the fact that there are bigger stores involved in that, it's not really all that low.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe. You might be onto something.
Yes, you got a
I
good
see
point.
your point.
We're gonna wrap the statistics up with
It's gonna snow.
here's some customer opinions on a bad customer experience. Right, it can take up to 12 positive customer experiences to make up for one negative, which we kind of covered earlier. 39% of customers say a customer service representative's lack of knowledge is the most frustrating aspect of poor customer service, followed by 20% who say having to repeat information is even more frustrating, which I wholeheartedly believe. And 53%, so over half of the customers of this entire survey believe that companies don't take action on customer feedback, which I know we do. Let's see, here's some customer service bad effects, right? 91% of customers say they won't willingly do business again with a company that left them unhappy, which we talked about that. I would say give or take 8 to 10%. 78% of customers have backed out of a purchase because of negative customer experience. I just shared a story with you about that. And then almost 60% of customers would stop shopping with a brand they previously used after a bad experience. I can tell you right now, I personally boycott Nike and Target.
Yeah.
I do not buy products from either of those companies because of bad experiences, and then there's some different values and ethics and type of stuff, but businesses on a whole, according to the BBB 2022, lost about $75 billion overall due to poor customer service.
Wow.
So, and then so I've got some more statistics, but they'll fall more into the next part.
You can wait. You can wait an episode.
Somebody's rude.
Some people are long-winded.
Alright.
You.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Eddie with Blue Line Pressure Washing. I want to take a minute to appreciate the fact that you guys are listening and watching our podcast, and I also wanted to tell you about a company that I've been working with here recently called Home Service Business Coaching. I am not being paid to tell you about this. There's no sponsorship or any other deal worked out between Blue Line Pressure Washing or myself and Home Service Business Coach. That being said, David and the entire team at HSBC have helped me elevate my business to the next level. They've helped me develop systems for my business. They've helped me scale, as well as provided guidance and mentorship in all facets of the business. It's not a how-to program. It's not going to teach you how to do the job. It's not going to teach you how to wash a roof or how to wash a house. It's to teach you how to become a CEO, basically, and scale your business and do it effectively. If you want to be more profitable, get out of the service vehicles and put the right people in place to work in your business so that you can focus on becoming a CEO and growing your business, I highly recommend this program. It is, it's a high-ticket item. You get what you pay for, but it is worth it. I've been in the program for several months now. I've scaled my business, grown exponentially since I've been in it, and it's definitely worth it. And Coach David, Landon, Chemo, Jackson, AJ, all top-tier business coaches in sales and helping you scale and figure out what you need to do and helping you clear some of the bottlenecks in your business. So if you want to be like me and stop being in the truck all day and get in the office, surround yourself with a great team of rockstar employees, then you need to surround yourself with a great business coach and I strongly recommend Home Service Business Coach. Their link will be in the description of the episode on the podcast on YouTube and also on Anchor Podcast. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys, and we're back. Thanks for taking a few minutes to listen to those companies that we like to work with. And now we're going to work our way into the downstream section of our podcast, and we are going to talk about customer communication and landing the job. All right, you two, you're all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so part 2 of this series, to give a quick recap, series 1, we talked about, making the initial contact and landing the estimate, following through with the estimate, and then maintaining communication once you have that first contact. Now we're going to dive into actually landing the job and then communicating to the beginning of the project.
Yeah. So one of the keys is, like you said, communication and communicating with your customers, whether you do that yourself or you use a CRM to help you do it, like Mark8, Customer Factor, Jobber. They're all out there. We use Mark8. We've used some of the others, but we just kind of prefer Mark8. And, follow-up is key. We talked about that with the estimates. And the fact that Mark8 will automatically send your follow-up emails a couple of days after the estimate's great. But what we also do, and Jen can speak to this a little bit, customers get busy. Jen calls them and follows up with them. She'll text them and follow up with them. And a lot of times you'll find that your customers you're not bothering them. They're busy, and they're thinking about getting their house pressure washed when they ask for the estimate. They get the estimate and they move on to the next project on their list and forget to respond.
Life happens. People get busy.
Yeah.
That type of thing. I think the biggest thing is along those lines of communication is to have multiple lines of communication. Like you said, not only sending out the layer of messages, so the text message, the actual phone call, the auto emails, that type of stuff, but having a vast range of all those communications.
Right.
Because you're not dealing with just one particular genre of client, right? You're dealing with some elderly customers. You're dealing with some millennials. You're dealing with some newer generation folks. You're dealing with people all the way across. So, I know, for example, like our grandparents and stuff like that, most of them aren't tech savvy enough to know how to, traverse communicating through text message.
Right.
Or responding to the auto emails or going to a web page and going through a format. They would just much rather talk to somebody on the phone and be walked through the process. Right. Versus the younger generation here, they would rather you not even talk to anybody if they don't have to. Yeah. They'd just much rather navigate through the whole communication. My generation, I'd much rather prefer to talk to somebody, but also have that automated option to go to, if I can.
Well, and the proper structure to your emails, to your communications, is key. Especially if you're doing business right and you're providing high value at a premium price, you need to be able to communicate. You can't just say, this quote was from this company's $400. My quote is $600. The answer to that, why it's so expensive when I got this quote for $400 is not because I'm better. That's not the answer, because that does not inspire confidence. You need to show whatever value your company brings, the reason that you demand that premium price. You need to be able to communicate that to the customer in order to land that job.
Yeah, well, and then following up on your estimate. So, a lot of people don't realize the estimate is exactly what it is. It's an estimate cost that it's going to do the project. Right. There can I know in our contract and our fine print, and then other companies should have it as well. The actual job could come out less or more, depending on other extraneous circumstances. All you got to do is be upfront with your customers. Yeah. If something changes, there's more material than you realized, or they want something else additional. Don't wait until you're ready to land a job or to complete the job before you surprise the customer with here, by the way, there's a $400 increase from what we estimated.
Somebody did that to me. I would never do business with them
Yeah,
again.
absolutely,
No.
absolutely.
I would
not.
tell them to go pan sand, and you can just walk out that door right now because I'm never doing business with you.
Yeah,
Well, and we're pressure washing, so our estimates when they come in, we pretty much know what we're going to do.
yeah.
So when we send an estimate, that's pretty. For as far as my company goes, that's a pretty firm number.
Yeah.
The
We're not showing up and fabricating anything, or
Yeah. Well, so the only time our estimates change is when we show up and they want to add something, or on the rare occasion that there's a window cleaning that the screens just will not come out of the windows. Then we'll adjust the estimate. It'll go down because we're not detail washing as many, windows, and you can't spray water from your water fed pole through a screen and call that window cleaning.
I mean, it'll clean the screen.
They had screen cleaning.
Yeah.
Screen cleaning.
Yeah.
But not window cleaning.
So we have our technicians have the flexibility to, hey, this screen absolutely will not come out. I'm afraid I'm going to break it if I try to force it out. And then the customer make the decision. Do you want to keep the window cleaning for the glass that we can get to, and we'll adjust it off, for the ones that we can't. And then on the reverse side of that, when you get there and you're washing the client's house and they come out and they're like, oh, that concrete's really, really dirty now that I see a clean house. Let's get that clean. Then obviously the estimate goes up.
Yeah. I think the biggest crutch, not really even a crutch, that's the wrong word, but the biggest link in this whole chain is building a customer relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about a business transaction. We're providing a service for a quantity of money, of goods, right? It's a business transaction, but at the same time, you're building a relationship with that customer. You're building a trust. You're building trust with that customer, that they can trust that you're going to come onto their property. You're going to treat it with respect. You're going to do what you need to do, and that they can trust you, giving you their money, and that you're going to make everything right that you say. You're going to follow through with what you say you're going to do, and you're going to answer the phone when they need you.
Right. It should be an equally beneficial relationship.
Yes.
You benefit by making a profit for your company. The customer benefits by hiring a contractor that actually cares about the property and the customer. Not just the property, but the customer. You show interest. Don't fake it. Be a genuine person. People can tell when you're faking it, but show some interest in your customer. And if you go out there and try to sell every one of your services to every one of your customers, then, in my opinion, you're not doing right by your customer.
Yeah,
you need to sell your customer what they need.
You're not taking time to know. Actually, you're not listening. You're not intaking what the customer's telling you that they require, that they need.
So when I have a customer call in and they say that they want like a house wash, and I will always ask them like, hey, we offer, all of these other services, and I list them just to make sure, because a lot of people don't know, every service that you offer. So when someone like calls in or emails, they'll be like, hey, we're interested in house wash. I'm like, all right, cool. Were you interested in any concrete cleaning, fence cleaning, deck cleaning, roof cleaning, window washing, any of our other great services? And then a lot of times they're like, oh, well, could you possibly give me a quote on my sidewalks, or, maybe my deck?
Yep.
So then from there, what I would do is give them an estimate for the house wash, the concrete, the deck, whatever. But I do what's called an options estimate. So then they have the choice to pick and choose what they want on the estimate. So that way it's not a final number, and as they click and unclick the estimate, it updates the total so that they can pick exactly what fits in their budget to make sure. And then if they don't pick something, they have the number for in the future. So if they were like, oh, well, we're going to get this done right now, we're going to hold off until the fall when money's a little better and I can get that done again. So then they already have the number in front of you. So you're not, cutting your nose off to spite your face, and you're giving all your customer all the information right up front.
Yeah, if your customer has to dig for information, for numbers, for
what services you
services, you're already losing the marketing battle.
Right.
And you're losing the word of mouth battle, and you're losing that customer trust. There's I mean, at least with our company, there's nothing to hide. What you're asking for is what you get right up front.
I'm going to throw something out that, I was just doing it during one of the breaks. I was looking at Walmart.com for items. So, when we talk about these options estimates, what do you get when you go to Walmart and you stand there? And I like these Quaker Oat Chewy bars. I love these things. When you go to Walmart, you get options. Do you want to buy 6 of them? Do you want to buy 30 of them? Do you want to buy 12 of them? Here's the price.
Giant ones.
For the packages.
You want to buy chocolate chips? You want to buy peanut butter?
I like to have an option. I like options when I'm buying something. So does pretty much everybody. We all like to have an option, be able to pick what we want, and not be told you get this or nothing.
Yeah, I also think we do a very good job, at least in this company. And there are other companies that we've used that do a good job of it too. But we put a lot up on our website, and we can refer everybody to pricing structures or to options that we offer, services that we offer.
Absolutely.
If you're not really quite sure what you want, hey, go check out the options. There's a full menu, an a la carte menu on the website. Let us know what you're interested in, and we'll get you information back. But I think it goes really back to the first thing that we talked about in the first series, or the first part, is answering the phone, answering the email, communicating back with the customer.
All of these steps really, part 1, part 2, landing the job, it's all part of the same thing, and they're one and the same. We're talking about an experience. You provide your client with a customer service experience that puts them first, and you've already gone above and beyond what most of your competitors are going to do to land that customer.
I'll throw a line out from our friends at Home Service Business. What do we always say? We're a customer service business that just happens to do pressure washing.
I know.
First and foremost, we are a customer service business.
I know you guys have, you saw the excerpt that we put out there on HSBC during our breaks, but I cannot stress enough how much that company has helped me as far as growing my company. And so, that's one of the things that they say over there all the time, customer service business that does. And if you want to really make your business take off and become the boss, the CEO, the owner, whatever title you want to apply, and grow your company, then you really need to check those guys out and give them a shot. They're worth the money, believe me.
They're very nice guys. I've listened to a handful of video calls and stuff, and I've actually talked to them on my own video calls, and they're fantastic people to work with. They're funny, they don't make it all about business, but they get the job done. They're good guys. You guys got anything else for customer communication landing the job?
Well, so like as you progress through it, what are some key takeaways that we can provide other business owners here of actually landing the job? So you've already gotten the estimate. You've already gave them a firm number, and the customer's ready to schedule. What are some key things in your opinion that you need to keep in mind as a business when you're scheduling? Jen, you can weigh on this too, since you do all of ours. Well,
this is going to cut you pretty deep because you just got through going through this nightmare. Yeah. How about schedule the daggone thing? How about let's not wait 6 months, 6 weeks, and still not have them on a schedule? How about they've accepted your bid? When a customer accepts a bid, it is always less than 20 minutes before Jen has reached out to that client. And it doesn't matter how far booked out we are. Now, if it's after hours, obviously we don't expect her to get back with them after hours. But
I think within 1 business day.
Yes, one business day is perfect.
If you accept an estimate at 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, I will call you at like 10 o'clock on a Friday morning.
So schedule the thing. Don't leave them sitting there wondering when you're coming. Put it on a schedule. Make it happen. It doesn't matter. If your customer is willing to pay your prices, they're willing to wait for you. So it doesn't matter if you're booked out a week, 2 weeks. Get them on the schedule. Say, hey, this is the day, this is the time, does this work for you?
And make sure that, it doesn't matter what system we use an automated system, but it doesn't matter what system you use. Make sure they send out confirmations, or you yourself send out a confirmation. People forget. So if you send out, you schedule the thing. I know our system, as soon as I hit the accept button and the schedule button, it automatically sends out a notification saying, hey, you're scheduled this time, this date, this is who's coming to see you. And our system even sends you a picture of who our techs are, so that way you know who's showing up and not some random person. And then our system also sends out emails and text messages a day and 2 hours before we arrive, so that way nobody can say, oh, I didn't know you were coming. Well, you did. You just forgot. Despite that, our system makes sure that we send out lots of notifications saying, hey, we're still coming. Let us know if you need to change anything. So, make sure you remind people, because people forget.
Yeah, well, and if you're a business owner too, and it's easy with a smaller company, or I wouldn't say smaller company, but with a smaller staff like us, because it's, you've really got one person doing multiple jobs. So it's
right.
Easy to cross-reference each other. But if you're dealing with a much larger company where you've got one department that does your sales and estimates, and then one department that does your scheduling, and then one department that does your administration. As an owner of that company or a general manager or whatever, you've got to take it upon yourself to make sure that all of those departments are talking to each other.
Internal communication is key.
Because this is, again, I'm not going to throw the company out, but this is the experience I just had with a construction company, is the sales team and the team that came out to do the estimates were top notch. They were grade A. The guy who came out, or the team that came out, knew exactly what they were talking about. They were able to quote us numbers immediately. They were able to speak through some of the problems that we wanted to get taken care of, and they were phenomenal. Within 48 hours, they had an estimate back to us, and they had multiple estimates, just like we talked about. Giving us options, and we were ecstatic. And we had got other quotes, and we had several other companies that were significantly less, but we were sold on what this company was offering. And then the bell rang, and then it got passed over to the scheduling and planning department, and nothing. No phone calls, no text messages, no emails,
no return phone calls
for weeks. And I'm not talking, 72 hours or 96 hours. I'm talking like 4 weeks and finally an additional 2 weeks of me calling in, trying to say, hey, do you guys want my money or not? Because I've got nothing.
Right.
And then finally the last, the straw that broke the camel's back was I finally got through to the customer service, which is yet another department that had no idea what the other two departments were doing. And they had no idea I even had an estimate. So it's like, all right, your company has completely turned me off from wanting to do business with you because you are clearly disorganized, and now you've completely lost all the trust that your sales team worked to build, and I can't trust to do company with you. Don't be that company. Don't be that owner that doesn't know what's going on in your own company. Making sure all your entities are talking, because your customers are going to pick up on that.
Right.
All right, that all sounds good. So an update on the podcast website. I actually have been waiting on Miss Tori for a picture for the About Us page. So I'm just going to put up a random picture of her, and she can deal with it. So our podcast website will be up by the time this podcast launches on Tuesday at 4.
Do we got Evan's alternate picture?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be awesome. So I will have this website up, and the links and everything will be in the descriptions.
He brings it on himself, though.
He really
does.
Don't worry, his videos will all be up on the
awesome.
Facebook page as well. Or, I'm sorry, the website. So do you guys have any closing remarks to finish out this podcast?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say on it. Thank you guys for sticking it out with us, and hope you enjoyed it. We like to try to mix it up and bring some fun and interesting stuff before we get down into the serious stuff. So,
yeah, stay tuned. Next episode, we're going to cover the third part of this series. We're going to talk about the once you land the job through completing the job and the follow through.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
That was a Saturday Night Live joke, like way back in the day when you could tell fun jokes on TV.
yeah. My boss asked me why I only get sick on work days. I said it must be my weakened immune system. That wedding cake's so beautiful. Even the cake was in tears.
The cake was in tears.
That's awful.
You two are ridiculous.
I was wondering why why the baseball kept getting bigger and bigger. Then it hit me.
Hey, that's Riley.
What?
Riley used her face to dribble a basketball once.
That was one time.
That one was actually pretty funny.
I just paid $100 for a belt that doesn't fit. What a huge waste.
I need that.
That was not good, Edward.
What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated.
That's
Sophisticated.
they say ours are bad. I ordered a chicken and an egg online. I'll let you know which one comes first.
Riley, what was your first joke ever that you told everybody for like
It
4
was
months?
something about like you put a little buggy in it, but I don't remember like the first part. I only remember the punchline. What was it?
Oh, it's something like.
How do you make a tissue dance?
Yeah.
You put a
It
little
was.
buggy in it.
She would tell that.
If April
She would
showers,
shake her. She like you put a little boogie in it.
if April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims.
What'd you say?
Pilgrims.
Oh, Mayflower. I was like pilgrims.
We introduced Kara to
You need an
Batman.
intelligent audience for that joke because most people aren't going to get that today.
I got it. Don't worry.
Thank you.
We introduced Kara to Batman last night.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious. She is absolutely obsessed with superheroes, and she loves Batman because he
Oh man.
beats the crap out of people. And every time he showed up, Dad, there's Batman. He go get him. There's Batman. We know it's Batman. Dad, is that the bad guy? Look, there's his car. I has to explain it. So he gets on the roof, and that's how he's a good guy because he can do that.
This is on the roof.
Cool. Okay. And then she'll watch it for a minute.
Batman Begins last
Oh my
night.
god,
that's
every
awesome.
5 seconds. Wait, that's the bad guy. He's gonna get him. Well, who's that person? Is he gonna get that person?
Yeah, explain
Where's
the whole
Batman at? She
like-
literally
like
explained
watching
the
a
entire movie.
It's like watching a movie with Emmy.
No, it was bad.
Oh, it was so funny. I don't remember. We didn't really watch any of the movie because that's all we heard was her, and it was the funniest
Yeah, that
thing.
makes it better.
Dad, where's Batman? Is Batman coming? Where's Batman at? He's coming.
I showed her the Superman movie. I don't think you were home. I showed her the Man of Steel movie. And when Superman intercepts Zod on the farm,
Yeah.
of course he flies out of the ship and her car does the same thing. It's Superman. He's gonna save her. And then when he grabs Zod from in front of Martha, car goes, ooh, ooh.
This child is absolutely obsessed with all things superheroes. She loves Spider-Man and Batman
That's
and
awesome, though.
Superman. It's so funny. So like, she
Yeah,
is
she's got Spider-Man in her bath towel.
a
It's a
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man bath towel.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my mom, she called my mom last night. She was in the bath towel, and my mom was like, "Who are you, Superman?" She goes, "No, Ma, I'm not Superman. I'm Spider-Man, and not Superman, it's Spider-Man." I'm like, "Okay, Car." And then
She
one
get wound
time-
up about it.
Oh, she does. All right, guys, welcome back, and thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to those companies that we like to work with. And we are now going to head into our downstream section, and we're going to talk about our third part of the customer relations. And this part is all about how to handle the customer while you're on the job. So, like, while you're at the job and that kind of stuff. So, Edward, Justin, take it away.
Yeah. So so just to recap, last series or the last the part 2 of the series, we talked about dealing with the customer through the closing of through the landing the contract and scheduling the job. So what we're going to talk about today is how to handle the customer, the communication, and everything with the customer while you're completing the job and through the final walkthrough.
Yeah, and this actually, I'm kind of kicking myself now because I should have brought Evan in here, because he is really good at this. But then again, Evan's also a nervous wreck when you put him in front of a camera, so there's that.
We're on a ladder.
No, he's fine on a ladder. It's a step stool he can't stand.
We love you really, Evan.
Well, that's debatable.
So,
So when you get to obviously when you get to the customer's house, one of the most important things about dealing with the customer in person is to look professional, because you don't want to show up looking like a bum, and you've done all this hard work to show your worth, show why you're a professional company, why you deserve the money, all these steps. You've done everything perfectly up to this point. Now you show up looking like a bum, that's strike one. You just lost some credibility, because the customer expects, after the follow-ups that you've done, the customer service you've provided, they have this expectation in their head of what's coming, and they expect what's coming to look professional.
Yep.
You don't have to be all decked out. I mean, let's face it, we're home service contractors. They don't expect us to be in dress shoes.
yeah, we're not going to be in
like
suits and ties or khakis and polos showing up, but
your look has to be a good look. Don't show up with your cigarette hanging out your mouth, with the ash that long getting ready to fall off, and
Yep.
filthy, dirty, clothing. Show up like you're a professional getting ready to do a job. Show up like you would show up to a job at a mansion. I don't care if you're showing up to a trailer park to wash a trailer. You should always show up like you're showing up to wash the White House. You wouldn't show up to the White House, I hope, dressed like a bum. So
yeah, well, and that also goes for how you need to conduct yourself while you're on the job, and that goes for we're a small company, so we really only got 2 at max 3 guys on the job at one time.
mm-hmm.
Usually it's just 2. But you get some of these larger companies who show up with a crew of 6 to 8 guys to do a big job in one day.
Right.
You're also responsible for those guys, so making sure that they're not, leaving trash around, throwing cigarette butts down on the ground. They're looking professional, they're acting professional.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've noticed, especially in more of the construction fields, I know as a customer at me, I don't hover when somebody's doing work, but I'm close by.
Right.
Just in case they need something, but also to make sure that I'm happy with the way stuff's progressing.
Right.
And make sure that your crews and your people know that people are listening, people are understanding what's going on. Have them watch their conversations, because the last thing you want is to get caught bad mouthing the customer, or talking about making inappropriate comments, or about the customer's house, the customer themselves, or how much they're paying, or anything like that. Just keep those conversations out of it, and you'll avoid an awkward situation.
Go ahead.
So how do you handle the customer that is hovering too much and won't stop talking to you during the job?
Well, that's kind of a 2-part thing. You want to take your time and talk to your customers, explain to them what you're doing, but at the same time you've got a job to do. And especially for us, we're spraying chemicals. We don't want customers anywhere near us, and that is one of the big things, is explain, hey, listen, I'm here if you have any questions. I'll stop and talk to you. I do have to get to another job, so I can't really talk a whole lot while we're doing this, but you're welcome to hover. You can watch me. I've told customers from day one, you're welcome to follow me all the way around your house. This is your property. This is your biggest investment, is your home. So you're welcome to follow me everywhere you want, but what I need from you is to stay at least 20 to 30 feet away from me at all times when I'm spraying.
Yeah.
And if you explain that to them and be like, hey, look at my pants, look at my clothes. They're spotted. If these cleaners get on you, they're going to ruin your clothes. If you have sensitive skin, it could burn you. All those kind of things. And customers understand that, and they give you your space most of the time.
Yeah. Usually, if you have a legitimate explanation as to customer safety, usually most of the time they're pretty understanding. Hey, we've got tools laying around, we've got hoses laying around. We know what we're doing. We know where our stuff is, but we don't want you to trip. We don't want you to
Well, one thing I'm going to tell you right now, do not let happen is do not let your customers pick your stuff up and start helping.
Yes.
Do not.
People do that.
Yes.
Yeah, and most of the time they don't mean,
They're trying to legitimately be helpful.
yeah,
They want to be nice. They want, you've treated them like gold up to this point. They want to be as helpful to you as they can be.
Yeah.
But they're a massive insurance liability as soon as they put a finger on any equipment.
well, not only that, but they don't have any knowledge of your processes.
Right.
They don't know how you've got your equipment laid out. They don't know there's a certain way that stuff needs to be set up and then put away. It creates a nightmare.
Right.
But yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, especially if you've got multiple guys on the scene. I know you've done it before. If you've got a crew that's working their tail off and you've got a few minutes to break away and talk to that customer.
Mm-hmm.
Go kind of keep them occupied while your crew's doing whatever they need to do.
Answer
Then you can
questions.
answer some questions and you're not backlogging yourself on the jobs for the day, and and you're not kind of shutting them inside saying, hey, leave us alone.
Right.
You're giving them their attention, but you're letting your crew do their thing.
Right.
So keep that in mind, and a lot of times, and Jen, you can talk to this, being the scheduling and the customer service, but a lot of times you kind of have an idea of what customers you're walking into that might be super inquisitive or super interested in what you're doing, or
Oh yeah,
sometimes you might have that.
You
kind of
occasionally
clues.
get the customer that I just know from the phone that won't get off the phone or just keep
Yeah.
asking questions. I'm like, I warn my guys a lot of times, like if I know that there's gonna be, some talkative customers or they're gonna, they're lonely, you can just tell sometimes.
Yep.
I always make sure that I put it in the work orders that, just to give the guys a heads up, I'm like, hey, sorry, this one's probably gonna talk your ear off. I
Yep.
apologize in advance.
There's always a polite way also to end that conversation and get to work. Don't ever be rude about ending a conversation.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Well, because that puts people off from coming back, and then they tell their friends about it and stuff like that.
Well,
so.
you spin it. You spin it in a way that you're helping the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I'd love to talk to you here for a few more minutes, but I really want to get your job done, and that way we can take a walk around and I can show you everything that we got done.
Yep.
There's ways around it to make them feel, appreciated, not.
Well, and
Put
they
off.
should feel appreciated. You should treat them like they're the most important person on the job site because, let's face it, they are. They are the most important person on the job site. You've paid attention to what they need in your estimating process. You're trying to help them with that. And the facts are they are the most important person there because they're the ones that are paying you to provide service. If you do something like tell them, hey, you know what, I don't have time to stand here and talk to you. Let me just do my job and I'll leave. If you said that to me, I'd be like, well, I tell you what, I can make it even better for you. I can give you some more time. I'll see you later. Get on off my property.
Yeah, I find
There's your
somebody else.
$1,000 job down the tubes because you didn't take the time to learn how to deal with people. Everybody should read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and its main premise is basically learning how to talk to people so that you don't come across as alienating or rude or hateful or nasty.
I haven't gotten that book yet. I still haven't finished the
Why are you
profit.
still so mean?
I haven't finished the profit first book yet. But no, I was reading another book. I just haven't gotten to that one yet.
So we're in part 3 here. What do you think is other than communication with the customer? We've landed the job and you showed up at the job site. Eddie, I know what your answer's gonna be, but what's the most important part?
Greeting them.
Your initial reaction is
That-
to make contact.
They have not, unless you did an in-person quote, and even if you did an in-person quote, what if you're like us? Like I do the in-person quoting and then Stephen and Evan do the washing.
Yep.
So, first impressions, everything is going to hinge on that. So, greeting, a proper knock on the door. Don't stand there and crowd their doorway. Give them some space. Knock on the door, step down off the porch. If it's a rancher, step back a little bit. Give them some space. Greet them with a smile. If they want to shake your hand, shake their hand. A good first impression, there's no replacement for it.
And then
Well, that goes for anything, not just, showing up at a job site. That
I mean,
goes for
that's just
anything.
general
Meeting a new
personability,
person,
yeah.
going for a job interview, whatever the case is. I mean, that kind of thing goes for anything.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're going to a job interview.
Yeah, basically.
And not to get off on a rabbit hole, but do you know how many kids coming out of college right now don't know how to properly shake somebody's hand?
I have no idea.
It's embarrassing.
It really is.
It is embarrassing.
They have no clue. I've seen them. You stick your hand out for a handshake, and I've seen them go,
Yeah.
"What's up, man?"
Oh. Yeah, we'll get off on that, but yeah, because I could talk an hour on it.
Yeah.
How about doing the initial walk around when you get to the job site?
Oh, absolutely. You take the customer with you. Invite them. You don't force them because obviously it's their house, but you need to invite them. Hey, I'm Eddie with Blue Line Pressure Washing. We're here to get your house cleaned up for you today. Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can reassure you on? Any problem areas I need to know about? Water tightness, leaking windows, anything like that?
Yep.
Everything's good. Okay, great. I'm going to do a quick walk around the house. You want to come with me?
Yep. And then honestly, a lot of times that's really the interaction that they get their questions and their interactions out of the way. And when they see you start pulling hoses or start pulling stuff off the truck or start, getting your tools out, then they, usually most of them just they might watch from a window or from another porch or whatever, but they let you do your
So
thing.
now then you've gone ahead and done the job.
I
You're
think
starting packed up. So then what do we do from there?
well, you got to go back and get them.
Yeah.
You knock on the door. Hey, Mrs. Smith, we're all wrapped up. We're done. Everything went pretty smoothly. We did notice you've got some artillery fungus on your siding. I'd like to show that to you if you have a few minutes. You want to take a walk around the house with me and make sure that you're satisfied before we leave out of here.
And if there's areas that you couldn't get as clean as you initially said, or there was something that that you did different or anything like that, be sure to
Own it.
no, we're not even owning
No.
it, but yeah, let them know that up front. Say, hey, we tried several times to get this clean. It could not get clean. We're not sure what it is. Stain, rust, whatever. Give them options if they want it, but don't let them be the ones to discover that you messed something up or something's not to their liking, because they're going to call you back.
A lot of times what you'll find on virtual quotes, and that's why you invite them with you on the initial walk around. Now, say they don't go with you on the initial walk around, then you need to come back and make contact with them before you start if you notice this. But on your initial walk around with the customer, you can point things out like rust. Hey, I see you got some rust coming from that air conditioning unit up there. It's on the siding. Unfortunately, that's not something that we're going to be able to get off with a regular house wash. Once we get everything cleaned up, you and I can take a look at it and see if you want to do something about that. Easy.
Yeah.
And rust is easy enough to get rid of. I mean, it's expensive with the chemicals that you need to buy to do it, but spray it on, give it a couple of minute and rinse it away. And then one thing that I always do is if I notice like with one of the commercial buildings, we did a rust removal on had the incorrect exterior screws from their old sign, and the company that took the sign down left the screws in, and the rust started coming down the side of the brick building. So I told them, listen, I can get rid of it, but if you don't get the screws out of here, then next week it's going to be right back.
Right, the same
So
problem.
make sure that you educate your customers. They're not educated in this industry because they don't want to be. That's why you're there to clean their house, because they don't want to clean their house. They don't want to go through all the aggravation. And most customers don't realize that different stains take different processes, different cleaners. So you need to educate your customer while you're standing there with them and make sure that they understand the scope of work and what you're able to do and what you're not able to do.
And I think we've said this before, but when you're educating your customer, make sure you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Because while we're saying that they might not be educated in the specific area that you specialize in, for us pressure washing, you can be rest assured they're educated enough to go research what you told them.
Yes.
And if you're feeding them a bunch of bull, they're going to figure it out pretty quickly, and you're going to see that in your Google reviews. You're going to see that on your Facebook posts. You're going to see that in your feedback.
And do it respectfully too. Don't
You don't
talk
have to
down
talk
to
down to
customers.
anybody.
Just do it respectfully. There's a way to handle it. There's a way to educate people, but properly.
Absolutely.
But and a lot of people, it's honestly a situation of you don't know what you don't know.
And
A lot of people don't know that they don't know this. It's the same way. But then And then to wrap it up, wrap this portion up, the closing. Your closing impression should be just as important as your initial impression.
So closing impression is going to determine whether or not they call you back in 6 months to clean the gutters, or to do their Christmas lights, or to wash their windows again, or whether they call you every year for the next year, or for the next 10 years while they still live in that house, to come back and clean it every March and April. Even
though the majority of people who use a CRM, they've got the automated emails that go out, thanks for our service, you need to have that in person. Shake their hand, look them in the eye. Hey, we appreciate you selecting us. We appreciate you letting us do the job for you. If there's anything else we can do, here's our card. Give us a call back. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to build a rapport with the customer. Have a little fun with them. If they want to joke and laugh with you, do it. I mean, have a little fun with them. Make sure that they're happy before you roll out of there. We pride ourselves on making sure that everything's done. And wow customer service as well as wow service. Period. Customers always love talking to Jen. They love the conversations that they have with our technicians in the field, and they love the results of the service that they get. That's one of the biggest things that you can do. And close the job. Explain anything to the client that needs to be explained to them. Leave them with something, business card. Ask them for the Google reviews, the Facebook reviews.
Don't go too far, because and don't go too far into the follow up there, because that's our next topic for the next episode, Edward.
All right, I'm gonna shut up there then.
All right, you guys got any closing remarks here? Anything to finish out this episode?
No, just like Jim alluded to, our 4th part in the series, we're going to talk about post job.
I think I alluded to that. Thank you.
Yeah, you did.
Eddie did. I'm sorry. Eddie did.
And then I got in trouble.
I was trying to cut you off too soon there. I didn't want you to go too far into it.
I can't remember what I was talking about.
Grandma, with the program.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about the follow-up and
we're going to talk about the follow-up,
the frequency calls,
your CRM follow-ups, all that.
The reviews and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you. That's why you're in that chair.
All right, guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Eddie with Blue Line Pressure Washing. I want to take a minute to appreciate the fact that you guys are listening and watching our podcast, and I also wanted to tell you about a company that I've been working with here recently called Home Service Business Coaching. I am not being paid to tell you about this. There's no sponsorship or any other deal worked out between Blue Line Pressure Washing or myself and Home Service Business Coach. That being said, David and the entire team at HSBC have helped me elevate my business to the next level. They've helped me develop systems for my business. They've helped me scale, as well as provided guidance and mentorship in all facets of the business. It's not a how-to program. It's not going to teach you how to do the job. It's not going to teach you how to wash a roof or how to wash a house. It's to teach you how to become a CEO, basically, and scale your business and do it effectively. If you want to be more profitable, get out of the service vehicles and put the right people in place to work in your business so that you can focus on becoming a CEO and growing your business, I highly recommend this program. It is, it's a high ticket item. You get what you pay for, but it is worth it. I've been in the program for several months now. I've scaled my business, grown exponentially since I've been in it, and it's definitely worth it. And Coach David, Landon, Chemo, Jackson, AJ, all top tier business coaches in sales and helping you scale and figure out what you need to do and helping you clear some of the bottlenecks in your business. So if you want to be like me and stop being in the truck all day and get in the office, surround yourself with a great team of rockstar employees, then you need to surround yourself with a great business coach. And I strongly recommend Home Service Business Coach. Their link will be in the description of the episode on the podcast on YouTube and also on Anchor Podcast. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for taking that opportunity to listen to those companies that we like to work with. We are now going to head into our downstream section, and we are going to finish closing out our customer relations mini series here with talking about closing out the customers and what we do after the fact and all that kind of stuff. So, Justin, Eddie, take it away.
So, when closing, you always want to make sure that you have the details in the customer profile. And transfer those over to the technicians. You want to make sure you have them on the notes section, whatever. You want to make sure any details, you get the final closing details from the client. If the client's not going to be home, the client's going to be in a meeting when you arrive, so they don't want to be disturbed. They don't want you knocking on the door, and then you go knocking on the door or you're calling them because you don't have that information. Dog just about tore the whole operation apart. You just don't want to upset the customer right off the bat because you're not listening. You know, Jen takes the call and they tell her, please don't knock on the door. I have an infant. I don't want woken up. Please call me when you arrive, or don't disturb me at all. Just get to work. And then you ignore that request and go right into it. That's not good for customer relationships.
Yeah. So make sure you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Right.
Right. Show up on time. Again, pay attention to your instructions. First thing, if you're not asking for supplemental instructions from your customers, you're not doing yourself, you're not doing them a good service.
Right.
So there should be an option for you to offer whatever extraneous, stuff that, I mean, if Domino's can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you're following your instructions. Make sure you're where you are when you say you're going to be there. If you're going to be late, just professional courtesy. Everybody gets stuck in traffic. Everybody has a car issue. Something happens. It's life, right? But have professional courtesy. Give your customers a call. Give them a notification, a text message, whatever they requested from you. Let them know, hey, I'm going to be a few minutes late, or a little bit of change of plans. Just verify that it's okay with them.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, look at your estimate instructions, your sheet instructions, and get to work.
Yeah.
Do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, where you're supposed to do it, and with the customer in mind, and you're never going to have any problems.
Yep. Taking your time when the clients are there. Ask them if they want to do a walk around with you. Listen what they have to say.
Yeah.
Because they, up until this point, we're talking about technicians now. Up until this point, they've probably been talking to, like for us, they've been talking to Jen. They've been talking to, like the slacker that's across the way outside of camera view that's supposed to be hosting this podcast. She just got back. The technician, this is your first interaction with them, and you're the most important interaction that there is.
Yep.
Because as of this point, we've got great customer service going. Now, if your technician shows up and they have, for lack of better terms, piss poor customer service going on.
Wait. So what am I?
Not doing your job.
You're supposed to say excellent customer service.
Excellent customer service.
There you go, Justin.
Just inflate her head anymore.
That's why you're losing the game.
She won't be able to, yeah. Keep inflating her head, she's not going to be able to get through the door. Set expectations. Listen to what the customer has to say, because that's going to cue you in as the technician. If they point out a certain spot multiple times or say multiple things about a certain spot of the house, now you know what's most important to them, and that's where you want to spend your most time, is making sure you get every detail in that area of the job ticket taken care of. And it can also lead you to good upsell opportunities.
Yeah, well, like you said, this is your opportunity, finishing up the job and making that final contact. This is your opportunity to make up that difference between a 4 and 5 star review.
Absolutely.
So, for example, if you know that you've had some difficulties communicating with the customer, or there's been a hiccup along the way as far as scheduling, or something hasn't been up to par, this is your chance as a technician, as an owner, as whatever, boots on the ground. This is your opportunity to turn that 3 or 4 star review into a 5-star review,
Yeah.
and make sure that they have that positive experience, and vice versa. Just like you said, they could have an absolute excellent experience up to the time the technician gets there, and when they get there to finish up the job, all it takes is, like you said, one little thing that they're focused on that you don't hit or that you don't do to their expectations,
Right.
and that's the difference in costing you a 5-star, 5-star review versus
Yeah.
a 4-star.
Well, and when you start to clean, take your time, do the job right, clean it like it's your grandma's house, and you can even go a step above that. Clean it like grandma says, if she finds one speck of dirt on that house, she's fitting to go get that board that she used on your mom and dad. You know,
Yep.
the oak one that's got the holes drilled in it for aerodynamic efficiency.
Yep.
Don't nobody want grandma's board, okay? Nobody wants that paddle. So clean it like she's fixing to come at you with that paddle, and I guarantee you, every customer that you clean for, with the exception of those select few that there's nothing in the world that would make them happy, the good Lord himself could come down and clean their house and they wouldn't be happy about it.
There's just nothing you're going to do about
Yeah,
that.
that you can't do anything about, but 99% of your clients will be ecstatic if you go to the trouble. We're not about making money fast. We're about making money efficiently, and not just having a customer, but a client.
Yeah.
A client for life.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah, well, and if you're out there, and by all means, go make your money. But if you're out there just trying to, put quantity over quality, you're never going to last.
You're not gonna be here long.
You're going to be 1 or 2 summers and you're going to be burnt out because the word's going to get around. Just like anything else. If you show up to a property and you treat it like it's your own house, or you treat it like it's your mom and dad or grandma's house, and you take the same care that you would somewhere else, you're never going to run into an issue.
And especially, the older the client, the better the referrals. So I want to take a few minutes here towards the, we're kind of wrapping this up. We're getting down to the end of it. We've talked about reviews and referrals in the past on other segments, and I want to take a minute and go back into that and discuss and just kind of drive home how important those reviews are on Google, on Facebook, and how important a referral is. Nextdoor. So Nextdoor is primarily used by our older customers. We recently got the honor of being listed as awarded with favorite on Nextdoor for this area. Now, we've gotten probably thousands of jobs from referrals on Nextdoor. If you get, or thousands of dollars worth of jobs from referrals on Nextdoor. If you clean Sally's house and Sally is ecstatic, she can't wait to tell her friends. And she tells her friends, who's her friends going to call? Are they going to call Johnny's Pressure Washing down the street, or are they going to call Blue Line Pressure Washing because that's the people who made Sally so happy?
Yep, and you think about it, you go trust your friends, right?
Yeah.
If you trust your friends' judgment, you're gonna trust your friends. If their friends trust this company, you're gonna give them a chance, right?
Well, and it goes, the reviews and referrals go hand in hand because it is statistically proven that people trust Google reviews more than they trust recommendations from their family. So if Sally refers you to her friends and says, hey, this is the contact information they gave me, and the friends go and look you up on the internet and pull up your Google profile and see you've got 150 5-star reviews, then you've all but got that. That's your job to lose. I mean, seriously, it's your job to lose. Now, don't go price gouging people, but charge a fair rate for your company. You should be making at least 60%, if not more, gross profit after paying your technicians and buying your chemicals. Now, that does not include your overhead cost of running a business, but charge at a proper rate, do your research, do your homework, charge a good rate, make sure you make enough money to keep your company afloat and running as a top tier company. But that's your job to lose. If you get a positive referral and a 5-star review from Sally, you're guaranteed to get jobs off of that.
And if you
All
think
but
about it,
guaranteed.
Well, if you think about it, if you make 1 out of every 5, you know, if she refers you to 25 people and you get 5 referrals out of that, that's 5 that you didn't have to spend money on marketing and spend money on social advertising and spend money on walking door to door in time and stuff like that. While I've read some comments on some of the boards about, well, people are spending too much time worrying about their Google reviews, and that they're putting more.
I say, Google reviews is what gets us 90% of our clientele. Because I get a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, I just, Googled you and I saw all your reviews and I was like, oh man, this company must be good. So a lot of times our customer comes straight from Google.
100%. I've seen some of the comments saying, well, we're here to make money. We're not here to generate reviews.
But you're not going to make money if you don't generate reviews.
And that's exactly my comment, is you should be treating your reviews and your referrals exactly the same way you're treating your customer payments.
Those reviews and referrals are your cash cow.
And we actually offer, not to take Edward's, segment here, but we actually offer our technicians a tip. If they get a 5-star review from being out of the job, they get a $5 tip on their next pay. So it encourages them, to go above and beyond and get that review from that client.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because at the end of the
biggie
day,
bag incentive.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
Biggie bag, $5 biggie bag. But at the end of the day, $5 is nothing to us if that one Google review that we lands us a $1,000 customer.
And again, just to clarify and make sure that nobody misheard, because I just know somebody's going to say, well, it's not legal to pay for reviews. I'm not paying the customer for the review.
No.
I'm paying the technician for doing a good job and getting a review.
Yeah, sorry, I should have worded that better.
Yeah.
Trying to get a seal.
No. We pay our technicians for going above and beyond and getting,
Hey, this is Johnny from the FCC. Oh, that's great.
That's all we need.
My bad.
But
Craig Phelps 1.0.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just that. I mean, you should be offering. If you're a one man company, I get it. Offer yourself an incentive. I don't know. But if you've got technicians, if you guys that are out working your company, you should be offering them other incentives as well.
Right.
Not just the base pay.
Right.
They should be, if they're out there doing a good job, if they're out there, boots on the ground, marketing for you, putting signs up, doing a good job, you should be rewarding that. That's how you're going to keep loyal. We could do a whole different segment on loyal employees and stuff like that. But
I stopped in.
We'll put that in the queue for another later.
I stopped into the job site today just to drop off a couple of the yard signs that I picked up today, so the guys could put them out later. And I couldn't get out of the.
Now you're the one trying to destroy all the setup.
Tear everything up. I couldn't get out of there without that customer coming out and telling me just how much he loved the employees, how great they were, how great they treated him, what a great job they did. He could not do anything but talk great about those guys. And we'll get into that in another segment. We'll definitely do a segment on that. And here's the incentive. If you're a one-man crew, here's the incentive to get the reviews. How long do you want to be in that truck? Do you want to be on the tools all the time, or do you want to be a business owner? And
you got to make the decision early. Am I in the business to pay the bills, or am I in the business to make a profit?
Right.
Because there's a distinct difference between the two. If you're just paying the bills, you're never growing.
You're not.
If your plan is in it to
if you're in it
make
to win
a profit,
you need to
and grow your business, then this is the stuff you need to do.
There's your incentive for the reviews.
All right, guys, that was a fascinating segment. I'm not being sarcastic about that. That was actually really insightful. You guys, got anything to close out this episode?
No,
I'm just kind of curious to see if you're going to glitch again. So I'm excited to get to the closing remarks because I want to see if we have.
It just started glitching again.
You probably got the batteries in, right?
Oh, goodness. All right. You two are annoying. I'm done with this episode. All right, so don't forget to check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Blue Line Pressure Washing. And if you have any questions and would like us to answer it on the air, please drop us a line at justin@bluelinepressurewashingllc.com or leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/bluelinepwllc. And we will see you next time at the wash. Wait,
we
what?
forgot something.
I did?
Yeah.
What did I forget?
What's new?
The website has
We got the
Oh my
website.
goodness, I totally forgot.
Oh
Oh my goodness, okay.
Check out our website, thewashpodcast.com. It's got some great behind the scenes photos and some other information on there, some blogs that hopefully will be helpful to you guys. And
You'll be able to go back and check out previous episodes.
Yeah.
And if you guys, if we have went out and or if we've come out to your house as a customer, you've taken pictures of the guys or taken pictures, please send them in so we can put them up there.
Absolutely.
That's where we're going to post the shenanigans. So check us out there. Let us know what you think.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time at the wash.
Now we're out.